it's now 6 p.m. local time and you're watching VTV News brought to you by VTV International, and here are the headlines for this hour. Vietnam has strong growth potential according to the latest report from the World Bank. Then we'll follow a local resident who has spent her whole life preserving Arya traditional dancing of true ethnic people. We begin with some economic news. Vietnam, along with the Philippines, is set to have the most promising conditions for economic growth in the ASEAN region, according to the World Bank's latest report. The economy is set to be boosted by two driving forces, exports and domestic consumption. The worldwide decrease in fuel prices is benefiting the country, while the government's efforts to reduce its debt are improving the fiscal deficit. Despite the forecasted trade deficit, strong remittance inflows should ensure the balance of a payment surplus. The World Bank also suggests Vietnam quickly revise its regulations in order to attract more foreign investors. This analysis was announced in the bank's 2015 East Asia Pacific Economic Update released on October the 5th. With the conclusion to negotiations of the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, or TPP, Vietnam has so far joined 11 free trade agreements, or FTAs. One of the most remarkable effects of these FTAs is the reduction of almost every import tax. And how will tax reductions affect collections for the state budget, and what can the government do to compensate for future deficits? The following report has more.
For the first 9 months of 2014, tax from vehicles imported into Vietnam reached over $946.6 million, accounting for 41.7% of imported tax revenue. From 2018, tax on car imports from ASEAN countries will drop to 0% with the ASEAN Free Trade Agreement. Following other upcoming trade agreements, including the TPP, imports from Japan, South Korea, the EU, and US will also be tax exempt. So far, there have been no statistics estimating the impact of import-export tax reductions on state budget revenues. However, the Ministry of Finance has revealed that the proportions of import tax has decreased in the last few years.
In the age of globalization, revenue from import-export taxes will decrease. Therefore, revenue from domestic sources must be increased. For the last 5 years, the rate of tax revenue from domestic sources has increased from 58% to 70% and is planned to reach 80% by 2020.
At recent seminars on the effects of FTAs on Vietnam's economy, experts said that reductions in import taxes are not necessarily cause for worry, as every trade agreement brings both challenges and opportunities.
Despite a fall in tax revenue, new markets are open for Vietnamese products, and enterprises will have the chance to expand production and business in general. They will contribute to the state budget through income taxes.
The upcoming trade agreements are expected to open markets for Vietnamese agriculture and seafood produce, as well as garments and textiles. Vietnamese businesses must start enhancing their capacity to meet high technical standards and localization rates as specified in the agreements.
3 days after the State Bank of Vietnam issued the decision to tighten the lending and purchase of foreign currencies, the dollar has devaluated by 45 to 60 Vietnam dong in commercial banks. This is recorded as the biggest devaluation of the US dollar since mid-August. In major banks such as Vietcombank, Vietinbank, and VIDV, the bidding and selling prices posted on Wednesday morning was 22,395 and 22,455 Vietnam dong per US dollar, respectively, decreasing 10 to 20 Vietnam dong compared with Tuesday prices. Meanwhile, ACB and Exim Bank are the two giant stock banks with the biggest drops. Total decrease recorded in the last 3 days was 60 to 70 Vietnam dong. Posted prices of US dollar in these banks on Wednesday morning were 22,370 for bidding and 22,450 Vietnam dong for selling. On October the 5th, the State Bank of Vietnam stipulated that only businesses with a valid record of their transactions will be allowed to buy Vietnam US dollars just 2 days before their payment deadlines. The Prime Minister has issued a directive instructing localities to further implement their agricultural restructuring. The program aims to increase added value for agricultural products and to develop the sector toward sustainable development. To do this, farmers, cooperatives, and enterprises are being asked to renovate their manufacturing operations and production supply chains, in which enterprises play the central role. Scientific research and technological exchange between research institutes and businesses should be encouraged, and market research, surveys, as well as Vietnam's international trade commitments should be addressed. As part of the program, local intersectoral steering committees will be established to better control the agricultural restructuring process. Now, farmers across the country have entered the rice harvesting season, and countryside roads are filled with a yellow straw. This rustic image has allured many tourists who come to enjoy the traditional atmosphere. The following report takes you to Đường Lâm village, where farmers have made use of the rice harvest to boost local tourism.
The rice harvesting season is now underway in Đường Lâm village. Despite the hot weather, tourists can be seen everywhere. Besides ancient temples and communal houses, the locality has created other unique tourism services. Tourists become excited when they see the old houses filled with straw and thatch. They can also experience fashion samples made from straw.
It's so amazing that from simple straw and thatch, villagers here can create such impressive clothing. This is a valuable tourism service.
Without knowing English, Nguyễn Văn Vững, a resident of the village, shows tourists how to make handmade souvenirs from straw. Language is no longer a barrier between visitors and local residents.
We make little things such as grasshoppers and other insects that are connected closely with rice fields. We see them every day, and we want visitors to understand more about life in the countryside.
The harvest tour enables farmers to make the most of their crop by creating significant tourism value. It is a unique tourism product that can only be found in Vietnam's villages.
This new tourism model in Đường Lâm village is among locals' efforts to promote sustainable tourism development.
Exotic Vietnam is an intriguing blend of many charms. This land is where all manner of stunning landscapes await like a visual feast, rivaled only by the beauty of its people and their abundantly rich tradition and culture. Here is where you can relive the past in richest color or live it up in the bright lights of the big city. With so much more to offer, Vietnam is simply unforgettable.
Welcome back to VTV News. Since the start of this month, the central city of Hue has disbursed over $1 million from its budget to build flood-resistant houses for local people. Accordingly, about 1,470 households will be provided with these houses. 7 localities will be included in the project, most of them with a larger number of rural households below the poverty line. The community-based project provides houses with an area of at least 10 square meters that can resist heavy rains and flooding. Thừa Thiên Huế province is now home to over 35 poor households in need of flood-resistant homes. So far, over 2,200 households have been given financial support to build such houses, with a total amount reaching $1.5 million. Embassies of all 10 member countries of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, celebrated the 48th ASEAN Day at the Pushkin Museum in Moscow on October 6. ASEAN Day is held annually with the view of strengthening the two blocs' solidarity and increasing international friends' understanding of ASEAN. At the event, cuisine and art performances representing the 10 ASEAN member countries were organized. ASEAN ambassadors affirmed the bloc's major role in building and developing a peaceful and stable Southeast Asia region. They also spoke highly of the Russia-ASEAN cooperation, hoping relations will continue to grow in the future, especially as the 20th ASEAN-Russia Commemorative Summit will be held in Russia in 2016. The Churu ethnic community in the Central Highlands province of Lomdong is famous for its Arya dance. However, with the development of modern society, the dance has become less and less popular. And in the following report, we'll follow a local resident who has spent her whole life preserving this traditional art.
The gong was once an indispensable part of Churu daily life, appearing at every community event. But now, few people continue to play it. For Mabio, however, this instrument will never be lost.
Playing the gong is a practice that has been passed down from our ancestors, so we must preserve it.
With this as her mission, Mabio organizes special classes at home to spread her passion for the Arya dance to the youth of the village. Started in 2008, the class has drawn the participation of over 70 young people and children. Tone Paul, a student in the class, is now able to perform not only in the village, but in other places as well.
We would not have been able to play this instrument without our teacher.
I love our people's traditional culture. I will continue to preserve this art and pass on my inspiration to the next generation. I will tell them this dance has been recognized as a national heritage, so we must not forget it.
With strong-willed local residents like Mabio, hopefully the Churu community can continue their valuable traditions through generations.
And our bulletin now continues with the updated weather forecast. And that's all we have for you in our bulletins for today. In the meantime, do log on to vtv4.vn or youtube.com/vtv4yo. And we'll be back tomorrow with more end-up stories, so don't forget to tune in. For now, goodbye.